Welcome to Emotional Live, everybody. Hey, it's Morris Lilienthal. All right, not one, but two special guests today. Now, if you follow me on social and you followed my podcast over the years, you know I'm a big proponent of the public school system. It's something that, as the spouse of an educator, as a parent of a child in local schools, that I know how important our local schools are to providing a proper education for our kids, and our school administrators, our school faculty, all play such an important role. In today's times, we all know kids face a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles in face of trying to get a good education. And our school counselors are a vital role in helping students navigate these waters. And so I'm excited to be speaking with Ms. Stefanie Cook. She's the school counselor at Madison Elementary School there in Madison, Alabama, part of the Madison City School System. And our other special guest, Barnie Fife, who is the school facility dog. Stephanie, Barney, thank y'all so much. How are y'all doing?
We're doing great, Morris. Thank you so much for having us on tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Folks, I'll let you know I've known Stephanie for years, and I've heard just tremendous things through everybody in the community, and my wife including, about Barney. But let me tell you a little bit more about Stephanie as folks are joining. Stephanie received her undergraduate degree in education from University of North Alabama, got her master's in school counseling from University of West Alabama, and recently got her EDS in teacher leadership. She's been school counselor at MES since 2015, and she's just an awesome person. So, folks, if you're joining us and please share out and like the video. If you're watching, got questions or comments, jump in there and put it in the comments. We'll try to get to it. If you're watching after the fact and you want other people to learn about what a great resource a school facility dog is, please share this video out or tag other folks who may think it might be good for their school or their school system getting a facility dog. So, Stephanie, tell us just a minute. Let's give our audience a little bit of background about where Madison Elementary is, a little bit about the size of the school, the grades that y'all have at your school.
Yeah, so Madison Elementary, we're in the heart of Madison. We're in downtown Madison. It is a K through 5 school. And we're actually, I think we're over 600 students now. Madison is growing, it's exploding. So we're definitely getting bigger and bigger. And we have 28 classes. I think we have 28 teachers. And plus we have all of our specials, but we do have 28 classrooms. And I bet we're going to grow next year. But it is a wonderful school. We're one of the smaller schools in Madison City. So we definitely have that family feel to us. Everyone knows one another. I've been the car line lady, goodness gracious, going for 8 years now. So I feel like I know everyone. I know Meemaw, Pop Pops, everybody. But it's a wonderful, wonderful school.
It is. It's a small town feel and a big in a very thriving younger community that's doing great with a lot of great students, a lot of great support. But it's kind of, as y'all say, it's the original school. It was the original
We
school in
are.
Madison, and but it has a great feel to it. But at the same time, it is like all the other schools, to give everybody else credit in Madison, just top notch. And y'all got a 95 on the recent report card, I think it was, and so y'all are doing great things out there. And Barney's certainly a part of that. Tell us a little bit, for folks that are watching, kind of what are your roles and responsibilities, generally speaking, with regard as the school counselor at Madison Elementary?
Oh, as a school counselor, we wear a lot of hats. So, as a school counselor, I teach classes 2 times a month for all of my classes, which is about, oh, we're getting close to like 50 something classes a month. I do all the individual check ins with students, making sure that all my students are taken care of. I'm a member of our RTI team, which is a response to instruction, where we make sure that students are getting the accommodations that they need in class. I'm the 504 case manager for any of my students who have medical diagnoses, making sure that they're getting the interventions that they need to be successful. I'm the building test coordinator, making sure that all the students are getting their appropriate tests, things like that. I take care of our faculty, making sure that they're met. But overall, I take care of the mental needs of my students. So it's every day I feel like I have on a new hat. Some days I'm a nurse, some days I'm a friend, some days I have to use tough love. but it's okay because I just try to make sure that I'm giving my students what they need every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know you work hard at that, and you do such a great job with that. Talk a minute about. I know you and I were talking before we went live that just in the last year or two, um, the understanding of having a facility dog is becoming more commonplace in schools now in the last year or so. But for a lot of viewers out there, that may not be something they have ever heard of. And you tell us, where did the idea for Madison Elementary or MBS to get a facility dog come from?
So years ago, I went to, so it would have been 20, oh, Barney was born in 2018. So in 2018, I'd recently lost my golden retriever and I was devastated, of course. And I went to my state conference and they had a session about the use of animals in a therapeutic setting. And I just thought it was amazing. Now, I didn't want to go to that session because it was on a Friday. We needed to hit the road. And our mental health coordinator, Miss Stephanie Allen, she told me, she said, no, we're going to that session. You're going to regret it if we don't go and see what it's about. So I do thank her for pushing me to, let's say, a little longer. So we went to the session, and it was an LPC who used a dog in her private practice. And she talked about how dogs are sometimes better at getting people to open up than people are. Like,
Right.
people are more likely to talk to Barney than they will for me. So I just listened to her and it was amazing. And I was like, I would love to have a dog in a counseling setting. And there was someone from Matt, I cannot remember what school, but I remember she knew the handler of Mabel. Mabel was a Great Dane from Service Dogs of Alabama, and unfortunately, Mabel passed away about a year and a half ago. But she said you need to get in touch with Service Dogs of Alabama, and so I did my research and I contacted Frances McGowan. And I explained to her I was a school counselor. I was like, "Do you put dogs in schools?" And she said, "Yes, and I'm going to help you." So on December 10th of 2018, I presented to the school board about what facility dogs could possibly do for our program. And we had other people there that were talking about bringing on therapy dogs. And I'll tell the difference between therapy dogs and facility dogs in just a
Yeah,
second.
please do.
Uh, but I presented, we talked about it, and they seemed willing to listen. And 10 days later, Barney Fife was born. So I feel like it was meant to be that this was supposed to be my dog. Like, he wasn't even born yet. And here I was fighting for this dog that was meant for me. But yes, and so I spent the next couple of years. We had then COVID hit, we had a change in superintendents, and it was just a process to make sure that we did this the right way. And that is one thing I'm very appreciative of Dr. Edward Nichols. He's our superintendent. He really wanted this to be done the right way. In the beginning, thought it was just so hard to get this done, but now I'm very grateful because I think Dr. Nichols made sure that these were implemented the right way so that the dogs were protected and that we were protected and stuff.
Right.
So I'm very grateful for the way that it was handled. But yeah, a therapy dog and a facility dog, two different things. And a lot of people
Right.
want to say, I want a therapy dog. And I'm like, he's not a therapy dog. A therapy dog can only work about an hour and a half to 3 hours a day. That's it. They lose their stamina. A facility dog is trained to work all day long. So Bart, when I clock in, Barney's clocking in. When I clock out, Barney's clocking out. So that's the biggest difference. And he can be in public settings like a school or courtroom, things like that. Barney has a license. If the kids go on a field trip, he can go on the field trip with them. The only place he cannot go is a zoo. They don't want him at a zoo.
Well, that's awesome. And I know he works hard every day and loves on the kids and earns his naps and his rest
Yes.
and his belly rubs and his ear rings like he's given lately after a long day. Um, Tell us, generally speaking, then I want to, in a minute, I want to kind of talk more in detail of what his role is and what how he interacts with the students at the school. But generally speaking, what does a facility dog, what is their role in a school? When you kind of, I guess, let's say when you first envisioned him coming, then maybe we can talk a little bit about how that may have transitioned as he's gotten there.
So I really wasn't sure what I wanted. And I feel like every day his role is changing and we kind of adapt to what he's doing every day. I think in the beginning, I wanted something to help me with the mental needs of my students. And I remembered Dr. Nichols had asked Mr. Golliver, my principal at the time, he said, how is she going to be able to do her job with a dog in tow? Like, is she going to be able to continue
Right.
being a school counselor? What is she going to
Right.
do when she's called to an emergency? What is she going to do when she's got a child in distress and she's got a dog on her hand? How is this going to work? And thankfully, Mr. Golliver said, if anyone can do it, she'll figure it out. And so I took that I think I took some time to think about, well, he's right. What will I do? And I thought about who's going to benefit the most from this dog. And I started thinking about my teachers. They were so excited when they learned about facility dogs. I can't begin to tell you how many teachers were cheering me on. Like, I can't wait till we get this dog. This dog is going to be so amazing. Like brings me to tears, but Barney was loved before he even stepped foot on the property. Like, those teachers loved him so much. And so that became my goal, was how to get him in their classrooms. And so that's kind of how it's been. When Barney and I walk into the building, he comes in my office with me. And I seriously have a sweet little girl, Allie Sweatman. She comes in every day, checks his little schedule to see where he goes, and he goes to a teacher for a couple of hours. And when he's in their classroom, usually has a bed that he lays on. I get teachers sending me pictures. Kids are reading with them. Kids are walking him around the room. Kids are using him as a pillow. They're just with him all day long. Barney does get a nap from 11 to 12. So I have a student that will usually bring them to me. I usually have some other kids that'll take him for his potty break. And he takes a nap. Now, he used to take a nap in my room, but now we have a new principal and she has decked her office in this beautiful decor. And Barney now prefers to go to her office to take his nap. I think she's got a Serta mattress in there for him. He's like, Mom, you don't have the good stuff. Miss Farrow takes care. He has his treats in a glass vase he's completely rotten. He's so rotten. But he takes a nap in there and then he goes to another class in the afternoon. And my fourth grade team is really good. They'll take him out for recess at 1:30. I think he has a pocket watch or something. He knows when 1:30 is because that is recess time. And he likes to go outside and play fetch, like loves to play fetch. Um, but yeah, he's just with students all day long, and it's been wonderful. People ask me like, "So what do you and Barney do?" I'm like, "I see him at Carline. I really don't see him all that much. He's doing his job with the teachers and the students, and that's how I envisioned it. He's where he needs to be."
That's awesome. Tell folks a little bit, and I'm imagining that when the conversation, when you made this presentation to the school board and over the course of the time before it was approved and Barney got here, there were some questions or concerns about, well, the difference obviously between a service dog and a facility dog and a therapy dog and a facility dog, but about his training, a little bit about his background, so we know that people felt comfortable that he was going to interact, have a good demeanor to be around kids all day long. Just and I think people probably, maybe as you told me, think you were his trainer, and that's maybe his
I
luck. I'm sure you dote on him and do, and certainly he's your baby. But in terms of, talk a little bit about his training and that kind of thing.
Yeah, trust me, I ain't no dog trainer. I got a 90-pound German Shepherd. I'm not a dog trainer. Now, Barney came to me like this out of the box. He is perfect in every way. I could not ask for a better dog. So, a little bit about Barney's training. He is not my dog. I got him when he was about 2.5. So, Service Dogs of Alabama is located in Pope Hole, which is a little north of Montgomery. I think yeah. So maybe it is close to Montgomery. I can't remember. Like, I think it's north of Montgomery. Uh, but so what they do is at 8 weeks, they take the dogs from their mom and they ship them off to prison, and they partner them with a female inmate to learn their basic training. And that's where they learn all their basic commands. And I absolutely love that because I feel like it gives the dog a purpose as well as giving that female inmate a purpose as well. Honestly, I always tell them, like, you guys should do a Netflix documentary on this. It's just so beautiful the way they're growing these dogs, but they're also shaping the lives of all of these women and giving them purpose as well. It's just so beautiful. And the whole time, I mean, these dogs have had extensive health checks. They're constantly monitored, their demeanor. All dogs start out, most of the dogs, I won't say all, but most of them start out as a service dog. Barney actually started out as a service dog. He was going to be with someone with mobility issues. But Barney, he sometimes can be a little lazy. We joke that he's a unionized dog. He likes to clock out at like 3:30. Also, Barney's very sweet. So if you meet Barney, you're gonna notice he like nuzzles you. If he get close to you, he's gonna bonk you with his nose and rub up on you. And that just would not make a very good service dog. He has a little bit of confidence off leash. So they decided to make him a facility dog. Once they do that, they actually put him in different placements to see where he's going to be most successful. So every dog is partnered with a family that they're going to do best in. So when they had a group of graduates, they looked at the handlers that were they have up on the board and they look at the dogs. Well, because I had a German Shepherd, they had to be very strategic about placing a dog with me that's going to do well with other dogs. So Barney was with me because he gets along with other dogs. Um, but I mean, they go through training, all kinds of stuff, and it's just absolutely wonderful, all the things that they do. He's been in high school, he's been elementary school, he's been in all the schools to see where he's the best fit, and he was the best fit for elementary. But he came to me with like this little notebook, and I all of these commands, and I feel bad because I don't utilize all his commands as long as he knows to come, sit, and all that stuff. But when we were doing our training, it was me and Miss Beth Woodard that were in the elevator, and one of the trainers was like, he can push elevator buttons. I'm like, no, are you serious? She's like, he can push elevator buttons, and she's like, yes, he can. I haven't seen it, but they say he could. When I before when I took him for recertification, the head trainer, Miss Ashley Taylor, I was talking with some people and she said, let me borrow Barney for a second. I was like, okay. Well, I continued talking and I'm watching, and she got him to do all of his alerts things. So she passed out on the floor and he started to alert, like, trying to get somebody's attention to get help or whatever. He will, if you are on the floor and if you tell him to brace, he like locks up completely so that you can use him to pull yourself up. So he was trained to be a service dog, but he's happiest as a facility dog.
Okay. That's amazing. It's great that we all know as pet owners and been around a lot of our animals, pets have their own personality. And Barney's no different, I'm sure, in doing. And it's kind of great to hear, that he does, and that you and I'm sure the faculty and the kids and the students in the school have learned his personality, and they probably know what treats he prefers or
Right.
what
He's
what
like a
day
little
what day he prefers in the lunchroom for others. If somebody's bringing snacks or something, he does, I'm sure.
He knows who has what treats. He knows who has Cheerios, who has peanut butter crackers. He does like his little treat trail every morning. He's a mess.
We were talking a little bit about his kind of daily routine, and he's kind of like the students. He's kind of got a schedule every day, and I know sometimes he rotates certain teachers in certain parts of the school and do. Um, are there things that you didn't think about when you kind of had the idea and then and the motivation to bring Barney in, that you thought, well, this is how I may use him, and may impact? Have there been things that you or you've heard from the others in the school that were like, I never saw him having a big impact there, but he really has? Is there anything like that where you see him making an impact you might not have at first thought he would have?
Believe it or not, his potty breaks. I did not realize how badly students wanted to walk him around in the courtyard. For students who are trying to find their place at school, giving them a job of taking care of Barney in some way. I have one special friend. His job every morning is to go and fill up his water bottle and make sure that he constantly has water. I have, like I said, I have a really sweet little girl. Every single morning, she comes, checks his schedule, and walks him to class. I think being able to take care of Barney has been amazing. And then this year, we have a new leadership team. Our assistant principal, Miss Kelsey Thomas, she came to me and she said, I have this great idea. We're going to recognize students every week to be a part of Barney's Positive Tack. I was like, okay, let's do it. So every week, teachers nominate students who might need a little bit of recognition. Sometimes you have those friends that are trying the best they can, and sometimes just having their name called over the intercom and a picture with Barney is exactly what they need. So that's
Yeah.
been a really big deal. And he has his little paw print that signs their certificates. We call home to the parents to like let them know, hey, your kid is in Barney Pack now. So they really, really love that. That's been a really good thing.
And Stephanie, and he goes to like field trips. I think you were saying that earlier, but I know like at beginning of the year when y'all have your initial meetings and stuff, and y'all all meet at Bob Jones or James Clemens and do it. He goes with you and them, and I seem like I remember a couple of years ago there was I think they call out each of the classes or schools or say something, and Shannon was telling me that he started barking or doing something that y'all got him to bark or do, and it's just he's kind of a separator, right? I mean, he and I love that he's now on all the school swag and all of that. He's become the face of Madison Elementary, hasn't he?
He really has. Like he's been and that's how everyone like knows us. Like, oh, you're the school with the dog. And like I remember when I got Barney, they asked me, they're like, "Are you the most popular person at your school?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I am the most popular person. I'm Miss Cook. Everyone knows Miss Cook." And they're like, "That's gonna end." I was like, "No." And now when I walk by and they're like, "Barney," and I'm like, "Am I chopped liver? Like, what happens to me?" Well, ask Barney how his day is, and I'm like, let me answer for him. They forget all about Miss Cook.
Stephanie, did when you got Barney, was that his name already?
Barney Fife. So they now have themes that they go by. They had an Avenger group. They have an M group. With Barney's group, I think it was just a hodgepodge of names. So he has a brother named Merlin, and I don't know if they were going off TV shows, but his name is Barney Fife. And I just can't think of a better name for him. I remember when I went down to the training, you don't get your dog at first. I remember I sat down, I'm like, oh my God, bring me my dog, bring me my dog. And then I'm like, no, if we give you your dog, you're not going to pay attention. I'm like, okay. So they give you this folder, and I see Merlin, Cricket, Lulu, Barney. I can't remember. There was one more, Pearl. And I looked at the folders. I'm like, oh God, please don't be Barney. Like, who wants Barney? And I think I had Merlin's notebook. And I was already thinking in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, Merlin, we could do Magnificent Merlin. Like, I was coming up with all the swag names and stuff. And then after lunch, they bring out the dogs to, bring them out. And they write, Madison Elementary, we want you to meet Barnie Fife. And I immediately started crying. I was like, oh my God, it's my baby. And it's been the most perfect name for him. He is a little old man. And he usually thinks he knows more than me. It's perfect.
That's awesome. I love that. I wasn't sure, and I'd never heard where his name came from or the backstory. So I think it's great that it just worked out, and it's cool that it fits his personality too.
It's my husband said his real name is Barnacles. we call him Barney for short.
And obviously, I'd say after 2.5 years, Stephanie, fair to state you're a big proponent of facility dogs in schools.
Oh, I want a dog in every school. Like anytime I travel to a different school, sometimes I have to travel to pick up reports or go check in with a student, or if I'm called to a crisis, I'll bring Barney with me. And it's so wonderful to watch the students just engage with Barney. And believe it or so right now we only have facility dogs in the elementary schools. Our secondary schools are in such need of a dog. And every time I bring him, like you can see all of the just a a teenage child has so many walls built, and when they see the dog, they turn into a child all over again. I had watched teenagers kneel to the ground and just put their head to his head and whisper to him, and I'm like, "Baby, you need a dog." And so it's yes, I'm a huge champion for getting more dogs into our schools.
So Barney was the first facility dog in Madison City Schools, and now how many other schools have a facility dog?
So we have Daryl the Doodle. He is at Midtown and he is the floofiest, sweetest little boy. He is a great dog. And then we just recently got Spurn at Heritage Elementary. And Spurn is a little different from the other facility dogs. She actually has an incredibly sweet story. She was a shelter dog. Someone had dropped off this litter of puppies, and Ashley Taylor and them went and rescued the dogs, put them through all of the assessments, the health checks, and began their journey as facility dogs. So they really are a rags to riches story. They started out in a shelter, and here they are, little life changers. I mean, it's just a beautiful story.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, as we get ready to wrap up, I gotta ask a little bit about Barney after dark. So
Oh,
when he clocks out of school, I assume Barney doesn't have homework. And
no more.
he lives with you and your family, right?
He does.
And he's got a stepbrother, Henry the German Shepherd. How do Barney and Henry get along?
So Henry loves Barney so much. Like he's waiting by the door for us to get home. Barney treats him like any big brother would treat a little brother. He has no time for him. He's like, dude, I've been at work all day. Go deal with your own problems. I can't deal with you right now. Barney likes to be left alone after hours. So when he comes in, he has. I bought this really nice ottoman to complete my living room. Somehow I bought like a $700 dog bed. That's Barney's ottoman now. Like it's got a Barney indent in it. So he lays on his ottoman, he naps, he likes to eat his dinner promptly at like 4:45. He's like an old man. We eat early. After dinner, he likes to take his walk, and then he likes to come and watch TV. He just loves to sit and chill all night long. But he is very much like Frosty the Snowman. When you take the magical hat or the magical bandana off, he suddenly becomes a real dog. He has a hard time following directions. Justin swears. He's like, I think he got a dud. He doesn't listen to me. And I'm like, well, you're not his handler. He doesn't have to listen to you. He'll look at Justin. If Justin tells him, like, hey, get off of that, Barney will look at me like, are you going to deal with it? So he becomes a real dog.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming he's like a lot of teachers. He probably has that internal clock, and he's probably ready counting down the days to the Christmas break till he gets his break.
He definitely you can tell when he starts needing a break. The month of May, I usually just give him Fridays off. It's not worth the battle. Like when he starts putting his head against the wall, like, oh dude, I'm sorry, I'll give you some time off.
Well, it's kind of cool to see that he's just kind of he gets some downtime, gets a normalcy in his life as a pop gig, because it is. I'm sure it's a long taxing day, and to have I'm sure there's nobody counting, but I bet it's a thousands of pets and pats and loves all through the day, and I'm sure he's appreciative of that. But
Exhausting.
it is work for him and taxing for him.
Well, the days, so oddly enough, the days that we have like tragedy strike our schools and Barney will go to those schools, even though Barney is not doing anything but laying down and letting kids lay on him, those are the days that it takes a while for him to recover. Whenever he has just given it all he's got to take care of students, it wipes him out. And so on those days, I try to make sure that he has time off.
So Barney's been at MES about 2.5 years. How old? And Barney is 7 years old.
He'll be 6th on December
Mm,
18th.
okay.
We have a birthday coming up next week.
That's right. A week out. And so, and you had mentioned, I think, before we got started, that his mom is a facility dog, and she's still working, right? And she's about 15.
Yes. I think she's about 15. She's one of the, if she's not one of the oldest. She may be the oldest facility dog in the state of Alabama. That's Mama Maggie. He comes from a long line of greatness. He has a big sister named Foxy. She's a facility dog. He has big sister Lollipop, big brother Gunner, and then his other brother Merlin. And then he also had a nephew named Shaggy who was at Huntsville Hospital. But they found out that he was actually better placed with an Army veteran. So he's doing great things as well.
So, all things considered and doing, Barney stays in good health. We're looking at, he's got a long life, to working life there, I should say, at Madison.
I I want him to work as long as I do, and I got about 9 years left. So we're gonna see if he can go with me.
Well, hopefully he can draw retirement too. Well, along those lines, so as we wrap up, um, you mentioned earlier during the talking about the training and some of that discussion about certification. Does he have to be every so often get recertification and things? And I think you mentioned maybe as he gets older, that may change. There may be some
Yes.
things in that. Tell us a little bit about that.
So for the first 3 years, Service Dogs of Alabama, they like to do assessments to make sure. One thing that they're very strict about is his weight. They don't want them gaining too much weight too quickly. So the first thing you do at recertification is you get on a scale to see just how much the dog weighs. Barney is a perfect 57 pounds. So we've done really good, and that's why I get on to my teachers about snacks. I'm like, no, he's got to get on the scale. Like, don't overfeed him. It's embarrassing. But that also makes sure that he can still follow basic commands, and to make sure that he and I still have a really good relationship to each other. Because I want to make sure that's healthy, that we still listen to each other, we still respect one another.
And Stephanie, for his upkeep, how is that paid for? Do the school raise resources for that? Is there donations? How can folks help with that if they want to help?
So we do have donations with Paws from a Cause. And so anytime, so Barney actually had to have a surgery on his tail. He had a little tumor on his tail. And the vet that we use, they're wonderful. It is on Clegg-Ford. I'm trying to remember. Paradise Animal Hospital. They're wonderful. They take care of him, but he did have to have a surgery on his tail, and they gave us a great discount on it. And then Paws for a Cause is an organization where we raise money to take care of any needs of the animal, and they pay for the rest of it. But Barney, he actually doesn't cost me a whole lot because his vet takes Dr. Baloo. He's wonderful. He takes care of him. He gets all of his annuals for free, flea, heartworm, everything. He gets everything taken care of. And then I take care of his food because I hope to one day adopt him. When Barney retires, I just have to go to the school board and ask them if I can officially become his mom. So I don't mind paying for his food. I look at him as he's already my dog.
Wow. We, it's just amazing to see the impact that he is making in so many lives. And I know that the other dogs in the schools that we mentioned earlier are having the same impact in those schools. So, folks, if you're watching and you have children in a school setting, um, you know, reach out, put something in here. I'm sure in the comments, Stephanie can probably get you some resources or point you in the right direction about maybe where your school can look at about getting a facility dog and the Service Dogs of Alabama. And I'm sure there are other similar organizations around the country that are training facility dogs out there to be placed in schools because it's a tremendous resource, and it's just a fantastic thing that is there to provide a lot of comfort and support and give a purpose, as you mentioned earlier, for some of the children that are interacting and working with Barney. But just so many avenues that he is serving the kids at that school, and it's just truly amazing. So I'm very appreciative of everybody in the school system, and certainly you that had something to do with bringing Barney to MES, and I'm real grateful for that. And, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just so thankful for you inviting us. One way to get more dogs is to advocate for more dogs. And so, if there's anyone who is looking to get a dog in their schools, that I am more than happy to answer questions. Again, my goal is before I retire, one dog in every school. We're actually on the wait list for our second dog at Madison Elementary.
Awesome. Well, Barney would be a good big brother to another
Yeah,
facility dog, if he could show them the ropes and
exactly.
make them low dog on the totem pole. Stephanie, thank you so much. I appreciate all you
No
do for the kids at the
problem.
school, and thank you for your time tonight. Thanks,
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Bye.